Hey guys, Nick here with Phone Arena, and today we'll be comparing two of the best tablets out there. The star of today's show is the 2014 edition Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1. It's a new Android model that is fully loaded both under the hood and in the software department. Naturally, a tablet so capable has to be stacked up against the best devices in its class. And one of its most fierce competitors comes from Apple's camp. That's the iPad 4, of course, which still ranks among the best tablets on the market even though it has been out for almost a year now. So has Samsung finally managed to beat its rival on the tablet front? Well, let's find out. When it comes to build quality and construction, the Apple iPad has always stood in a league of its own. And the current model is no exception. It's an extremely sturdy, well-built machine, put together with lots of attention to detail. As for the 2014 edition Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1, it feels okay, but it isn't as premium of a tablet as the iPad 4. Its leather-like back looks kind of fancy, but a single touch is enough for us to tell that it's made of plastic. On the other hand, the new Note 10.1 tablet is thinner and much lighter than the iPad 4. That makes it more portable and more comfortable to hold. Another advantage for the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 is that it comes bundled with the S Pen. That's a very precise and pressure-sensitive digital stylus. It is used for taking down handwritten notes, for drawing, and much more. It sits in its dedicated slot located on the tablet's side, so it's always with you whenever you need it. The iPad 4 uses a 9.7-inch IPS LCD Retina display with a resolution of 2048 by 1536 pixels, while the 2014 Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 comes equipped with a 10.1-inch super clear LCD panel with a resolution of 2560 by 1600 pixels. As a whole, both displays look great and deliver similar levels of detail thanks to their very high pixel densities. Anything from text to images and videos appears clear and detailed on either of these tablets' screens. Colors are represented very accurately on the iPad 4, while shades of green and blue displayed on the 2014 Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 are a bit off. That isn't too major of an issue, however. An untrained eye will not spot that imperfection easily. On the other hand, Samsung's tablet has better viewing angles, remaining clearly visible even when looked at from the side. Outdoors, both tablets are usable as long as the sun is not shining straight at their screens. Currently, the iPad 4 runs on iOS 7.02. That's the most recent version of Apple's mobile operating system. Some like it, some don't, but either way, that's where iOS is headed in terms of presentation. Still, Apple's operating system is among the best of its kind. The 2014 Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 comes running Android 4.3 out of the box, so it's also up to date on the software front. Naturally, Samsung has modified heavily the system's interface with a layer of TouchWiz user interface. There are tons of visual alterations, additional features, premium apps thrown in, and, of course, plenty of extras taking advantage of that S Pen stylus we mentioned. These two operating systems may share a lot of visual and functional similarities, but there's actually quite a lot that sets them apart. Samsung's approach to UI design is to make sure its devices are loaded to the brim right out of the box. On the Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition, we find lots of potentially useful features, such as the multi-window mode, allowing you to have several apps running simultaneously side by side for true multitasking. Also, My Magazine is great. It serves as a beautiful newsfeed covering topics that the user is interested in. AirView is pretty neat as well, giving a preview of a photo folder as you hover over it with the S Pen. Speaking of which, there's a bunch of applications built in, made especially for the S Pen digital stylus. All in all, there's plenty of major and minor goodies you get with the Note 10.1 without ever having to open the Play Store. With the iPad 4, Apple has kept things a bit simpler. Its user interface does not have as many extras, nor does it offer as many customization options as the 2014 Note 10.1. However, it is minimalist, intuitive, and with a very light learning curve. In other words, even a person who has never used an iOS device before should get the hang of it quickly. Furthermore, there's the handful of useful features introduced by the operating system's latest version, such as the control center or the new AirDrop feature allowing you to share files with people nearby. At the same time, iOS also comes with a handful of essentials preloaded, such as notes, reminders, and calendar apps, as well as Newsstand, providing access to digital newspapers and magazines. And if there's something that the user might need, chances are that they'll find it for download from the Apple App Store. Using a non-screen keyboard efficiently is often a matter of getting used to its layout. After a little practice, we could type comfortably on the keyboards on the iPad 4 and the 2014 Galaxy Note 10.1 tablet, and we didn't find them much different from one another. They both offer a split key arrangement for easy typing while holding the device with two hands. Samsung has picked one of the fastest and most future-proof system-on-chip solutions around. That's the Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 with a quad-core CPU that can run at up to 2.3 GHz. On top of that, a whopping 3 GB of RAM are on board the Note 10.1 for seamless multitasking. Yet surprisingly, we did notice some lagging and occasional choppiness on several instances while browsing through the user interface or when waking the device from standby. We weren't expecting to encounter issues like these on a top-of-the-line Android tablet. The iPad 4 is powered by an Apple-designed A6X chip with a 1.4 GHz dual-core processor and 1 GB of RAM. On paper, it seems less powerful than the new Galaxy Note 10.1, but don't let these figures get you confused. The iPad is very responsive with most tasks, be it playing a game, browsing the internet, or simply checking what's on your agenda for the day. There are 16 GB of storage space on a base 2014 Galaxy Note 10.1 model, but a 32 GB model will be available as well. Besides, there's a microSD card slot present and it can hold cards of up to 64 GB. The iPad 4, however, has no microSD card slot, so if you need extra space, you'll have to buy a 32 GB or a larger model, and these cost quite a lot. Samsung has loaded the Note 10.1 with its own internet browser application, which is pretty fast indeed. However, we have to admit that Safari on the iPad 4 is even faster and more responsive. Nevertheless, it's a pleasure to browse the internet on either of these two tablets, especially since their large, high-resolution screens can display entire web pages without us having to zoom in on them. Both web browsers allow for pages to be organized in tabs, which facilitates switching between them, and they both can play back embedded YouTube videos without any problems. The 2014 Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 has an 8-megapixel autofocus camera and an LED flash for those low-light scenes. Its camera application is rich in features, offering built-in filters, some manual settings, and a number of shooting modes, including HDR, panorama, night, and so on. The iPad 4 comes with a 5-megapixel camera, which unfortunately doesn't have an LED light. The camera interface on the iPad 4 offers an HDR mode as well, but nothing more in terms of control over the produced image. At least it is extremely simple to use. When it comes to actual image quality, these two tablets perform quite well in broad daylight. Their cameras exhibit little to no shutter lag, and the images they produce are sufficiently detailed. Overall, the Note 10.1 does a great job in most scenes, and even its indoor photos are more than usable. The iPad's photos deliver colors that look a bit more eye-pleasing, but they aren't as detailed and contain more digital noise, especially in low-light scenes. Here we have the gallery application on the 2014 Galaxy Note 10.1. It is decent and it allows you to organize your photos in folders. The gallery on the iPad 4, however, is a bit smarter because it does that automatically for you. It knows when and where each photo has been taken and groups them in collections based on that data. Samsung's music player is packed with goodies as it always has been on any recent Samsung device. You get the mandatory lock screen controls, sound enhancements, and a neat feature called Adapt Sound, which optimizes music depending on the listener's earphones and hearing. However, we have to admit that we are more satisfied with Apple's music app. It not only looks better, but it comes with the new iTunes Radio, which streams free music over the web. You just pick a station and enjoy. When it comes to video playback, we'd rather use the 2014 Note 10.1. It handles any popular video file format at up to 1080p resolution, and it plays it smoothly, with instant fast forwarding. Moreover, its screen aspect ratio is more than suitable for watching high-definition video in widescreen format. There's a pair of stereo speakers on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1. Their output is passable, but nothing special in terms of quality. The iPad 4 has just one built-in loudspeaker, but it sounds drastically better than the Note 10.1 speakers, especially on the lower end of the spectrum. While we're at it, we must note that the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition comes equipped with a built-in infrared blaster, which is a neat standout feature. Basically, it allows you to control some of the appliances throughout your house, such as your TV, your multimedia system, air conditioner, and more. We have no complaints about the battery life of these tablets, as both should last you through at least a day of moderate usage. The Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition has an 8220 mAh battery, and we got about a day and a half out of it on a single charge. The iPad 4 has a 42.5 Wh battery, which delivers up to 10 hours of web surfing on Wi-Fi, watching video, or listening to music. To say that the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition is a good tablet would be an understatement. Sure, it's a bit plasticky, but nevertheless, it does rank among the best Android slates out there, and it sets the bar pretty high for all contenders. Priced at $550 for a Wi-Fi only 16GB model, it's definitely expensive, but it offers quite a lot of value for its money. Samsung's tablet excels when it comes to multitasking, not only because it comes with a powerful processor backed by tons of RAM, but also thanks to its multi-window functionality. Then there's the S Pen. It's a feature rarely seen on a tablet out of the box, and a potentially very useful tool for creative and productive individuals. At the same time, we are amazed to see that the iPad 4 is still holding strong despite being almost a year old. It could be heavier and thicker than the Note 10.1, but it has a much more premium feel. Apple's tablet is a well-built, good-looking machine, and it runs great with iOS 7 on board. Besides, having access to Apple's rock-solid ecosystem of music, movies, and of course, beautifully made apps and games for tablets is also among its advantages. Last but not least, the iPad is cheaper than the new Note 10.1. A base model iPad 4 with 16GB of storage and only Wi-Fi can be had for $500, which is still $50 less than what the cheapest Note 10.1 tablet costs. Just keep in mind that the new iPad model is expected to be released by the end of the year. Thanks for watching our comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition and the iPad 4. This is Nick. For more details about these two tablets, go check out our website phonearena.com.